everybody, it is the Captain here.
Hello, I'm Rob Chapman.
I'll do that bit again.
That's fine. That was the best intro we've ever done, ever.
And this video titled, Can Any Guitar Be a Baritone Guitar? Now, what even is a baritone guitar?
Baritone defines a measurement of scale length or tuning.
Or tuning. I think it's more tuning, isn't it?
Well, yes, you'd say a baritone scale guitar, so I think it's probably a tuning thing. So anything could be baritone. You could have a baritone piccolo, you could have a baritone kazoo.
Baritone just defines a lower sort of register, if you like, than something like a tenor.
Like my voice, I'm a baritone vocal register.
Absolutely. So, a normal guitar tuned to concert pitch, playing an E chord where it's tuned, an E chord even tuned from E to E would sound like this. Rob's guitar is a baritone tuning, so it's tuned from B to B, so the same shape chord. Much, much lower. Now, the idea of a baritone guitar having a longer scale length, so something like this is a 25.5-inch scale length, I believe. That's pretty common for a sort of a guitar you'd expect to tune to a standard tuning. The idea of the baritone is it has a longer scale length, therefore you can use similar gauge strings, maybe slightly heavier strings, tuned much lower, but because the scale length is longer, the tension in the string will feel similar. So what strings have you just put on that?
I put 11 to 56. I would have wanted a 60 gauge, but we didn't have one here. So we've got 11 to 56.
So it's kind of like maybe 1 or 2 gauges up from the traditional, say, 10 to 46.
Now I should just qualify here and say, I prefer a slightly softer touch. So 11 to 56 for me is a bit soft, but it's almost where I would have it like 12 to 60s or 11 to 60. But then if you do a poll, I mean, look at people like Rabia, he uses 12 to 68 or 12 to 60, depending on what he's playing. So
obviously, the idea of this, we were filming with Ariel Posen the other day, and he had a regular guitar, not dissimilar to this one, tuned B to B, but using much, much heavier strings. So it seeded this idea of a video going, well, can any guitar be a baritone guitar? Can it just have a normal scale length being a baritone guitar? So what I thought we'd do is restring this with much heavier strings, retune it B to B, and then compare what it's like playing a traditional extra long scale length.
Can I point out some obvious problems you're going to have before they occur?
Yes.
So problem number 1 will be the nut will need filing.
Quite possibly, because the strings are a lot thicker and they've got to pass through the same hole that currently the regular
It will
gauge
still
strings.
work if you don't file the nut, but if you try and tune it, it's going to stick and go. Beep, beep, beep,
well,
beep, beep,
we will, I'm sure, have to overcome those problems in the course of this video.
Problem number 2 is going to be that the bridge is going to need severe intonation.
Okay. Well,
May not be able to intonate enough range.
Really?
Well, it might do, because that looks like it's got a lot of intonationable, rangeable allowance. But some bridges will not give you enough.
Okay.
Like, for example, the Les Paul, you'd struggle to find enough.
There's not a lot. Well, you know what? I just want to do it and see what the objections are.
The third problem you might encounter is that your neck might need a tweakage.
I'm fully anticipating the neck needing tweakage. And I can tweak.
Those are my 3 issues.
I just want to, for fun, show you what happens to a regular gauge string if we just tune it down to B. So we're now in B, at least my bottom string is anyway. There's a lot of flappiness in this string. Pretty unplayable. You're going to get loads and loads of fret bars and loads of tuning issues and stuff if there's literally no tension in the string. So there we go. Now we shall go over to GoPro Cam and fast forward us restringing this guitar with a set of strings that we think are appropriate, which we think are going to be something like, we're going to go like 13 to 64, I think. That's what we're going to do, 13 to 64, and we're using Ernie Ball strings because we love them. Anyway, here we go. Pliers. 64. Is this going to be a problem?
Oh dear.
What's the problem? 64.
Well, you can't get it through.
Okay, we didn't get very far until we encountered our first problem. Close-up camera, Christopher. You know the bit where they wind the string around and round and round just after the ball end? Okay, this bit now doesn't go through.
It just hangs out the back.
Hole. It doesn't go through the hole. So I'm now faced with two options here. One is change the guitar to something else, because I'm sure...
Two is buy a baritone.
Some other guitars will have bigger holes there. Or see if I just can get away with a slightly thinner string, but not too thin.
Or a third option is to drill a hole out a little bit.
Oh yeah, I'm not going to start drilling holes out there, am I?
Well, Rabia did on a guitar a while back, yeah.
We're downgrading our gauge now to the only ball not even slinky, and we're going to see, I suspect this will absolutely get over the problems that we had of getting the strings through the hole, but may not get over the problem of a lack of string tension.
No, so my initial reaction to this is it's not enough gauge. You need at least 12 to 60 on that to get it down to B standard. But we'll find out.
We'll find out. Okay.
Thankfully he didn't.
The 56 fits. The other benefit that we've got as well, the nut does not need recutting for a 56.
Well, no, it's a 56. 60 it would do.
Yes, I think I did, in fairness, again, close-up camera. This is our aborted 64 gauge string, and you can absolutely see
just put a sat on top.
That doesn't, well, it's marginal, you know what? Might go with it with a tiny bit of filing, but it's not, you're going to get loads of tuning problems there because it's too stuck in the nut. You can almost use the string itself to file the nut out.
That's
but anyway,
what you do, yeah.
Anyway. We're not using that string, so it doesn't matter.
Pete, what the f...
Can we please have Pete on camera with his... Right, so we're trying to use the... Well, hang on then. So so I got down to a 32, and you're saying go, what, 30? Right, well, I've finished, and... What does this sound like at the moment? Hold on, let's just... I've just written a hardcore doom metal
like
tune.
That.
Let's have more gain.
I'd love...
It's just a tune.
Nut hand.
What are we doing? Honestly. Right, what was I going to after the 26 then?
17.
17? And then what, 12 gauge for the bottom?
Oh, 13.
Or a 13. Let's just snip the snippety doos.
Ledge.
I've got to be honest with you. There's no tension in these strings.
It's like... I can't even tell you what this is like for me. It's like having a wall that you're talking to. Yeah. Just the minimum tension gauge requirement is 12 to 60, and you get away with it. You need to intonate it.
Shall we do that?
Yeah, you have to. You can't not intonate. It'll never be in tune. Get the string in tune.
Right, strings in tune.
Right, and then if you play a 12th fretted note, is it sharp or flat?
They're all slightly sharp.
Yeah. So then if it's sharp, then you want to length.
It's too long, isn't it? So it's got to go that way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Have a go.
I need the screwdriver. The intonation is right at the extreme of what this can even be adjusted to. Back in the room, having now done my best to restring this guitar with some heavier strings, finding that we couldn't go quite as heavy as we wanted to, finding that the intonation is difficult as well because you haven't got the tolerance in the saddles here to intonate the strings properly. I'm also now finding that without recutting the nut, even on the size of strings, even though it kind of looks like the string is sitting in the nut, because it's not, do your fisty analogy thing.
So here's the nut, and then here's the string, and it sits slightly high so that you've got this elevated position of the string so that when you press it down at the low end to play a cowboy chord, you're higher so it pitches the string up. So then all the open strings go out.
What that's kind of meaning is you can tune it open, and the tuner says you're in tune, and as soon as I press any notes, you can hear the three strings that I'm pushing down have gone sharp here because, again, the string isn't sitting in the nut. So, not to be defeated though, what we've decided to do, because we're under a time restraint here, is to go and shoot a different video, but to give this guitar with a set of slightly heavier strings that we hope will fit through the bridge here.
They will fit with a bit of pulling.
So this is 12 to 60. Now by going up to the heavier strings, it will help with the tension and hopefully help with the intonation, but we will get the nut file down. So we'll come back.
And then we're going to give this to a tech who's going to file that nut, pull these strings through with every ounce of strength God gave him, and then intonate it approximately, and then it will work.
Yeah, because I think we can still do this, but I think what we've demonstrated so far is that...
I've been sat here playing guitar the whole time.
So I think what we have demonstrated is that it's more complicated than it sounds if you're just a mere novice guitar player like us. Right, anyway, back soon. Welcome to another episode of Andertons TV with me, the Captain.
And I'm Rob Chapman.
And I thought a fun video back in the room.
Wait, I'm not tuned.
That's okay, Mr. Rob. Back in the room. You can see the backline has changed as we've just done a phenomenal video on classic guitar tones. Anyway,
it was
Which
tremendously
may or may not
loud.
be up yet. And if it isn't up yet and you'd like to know when it was, then you press the subscribe button in this corner of the screen. This one of the corners in the screen, and then you'll know. And even better, put your notification thing on, and then it'll think, bing, bing, another Chappers Andertons video. Anyway, so we've taken this G&L ASAT special. This is a tribute one, an affordable one, 450 quid. And we've given it to an expert, our very own Gavin Hetherington, expert guitar tech for us. And he has strung it now with a set of 12 to 60s, did you say, Rob?
Yes, no, we went 11 to 60.
12? No,
12 to
12
60.
to 60.
12 to 60,
12 to 60
with a plain wound G string.
A plain wound.
As
a
nature
plain
intended.
G string. Tuned B to B, cut the nut properly, done the intonation. Didn't need to bore out any of the holes here, but possibly would have had to have done had we gone any thicker than the 60. And we have a guitar now, hopefully, is it in tune? That I can play a chord. And it's in tune. So I guess the next part and the most important part of this video is to now compare how these two guitars sound and feel. And I know they're different guitars, and you've got humbuckers on that and sort of jumbo single cars on this, and we've got different amps, but we'll swap them around and we'll get an idea. It's more the feel and the tension. So let's do something kind of riffy with a mild gainy thing on it. Right, so first impressions are that this feels pretty easy to play. Certainly the string tension is now probably back on par with what this guitar would have felt like putting a regular sort of 10 gauge set on here and tuning it to concert pitch. Intonation seems reasonably good. I think it's suitably out of tune up here as it is down here. But, you know,
just so that you know, the only way around that is that you tune it to an open, like chords down there. If you're playing, basically, if you were tracking rhythm with that, and you're playing like E, G, D, it's a nightmare. You either need the nut. I'm not suggesting that the nut wasn't cut properly, but we didn't give him a lot of time. But you can tune it to compensate for.
It's pretty in.
Yeah. What's it like playing a bit of lead then?
So lead, gain up, play a bit of lead. actually still feels looser than I thought. I think almost still too loose. You try.
Okay.
Try through your guitar amplifier. Give me a chance to try this PRS as well to sort of feel. Whoa!
That's my favourite. It sounds good. It's just there's so little resistance that when you're bending, you're going to go, oh, so, there it is.
and again, I was noodling on this while Rob was playing, and this feels much nicer to play. Not much nicer to play is the wrong thing, but the more normal.
What's a normal tension?
Yeah.
It's a normal tension.
So I think the conclusion we've come to in this video is that you could, as Ariel Posen did, take the right guitar, regular scale length guitar, and put lunatic heavy strings on it. What was his bottom string? A 17, Pete?
Yeah, 17 to 60.
Okay, so the bottom string's about right on here, but it's the top strings that were way, way heavier on Ariel's guitar.
Let me put this where it should be.
What are you doing? You're going to... Oh, crikey, I thought you were going back to E. Crikey, but you're going to do it C to C, are you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what this is strung for.
Anyway, so I think my general feeling is, unless if you want to play in a baritone tuning with regular, reasonably skinny strings on it, and by that I mean with a plain third and maybe not going much heavier than say a 54 to a 60, something like that on the bottom E string, I would absolutely still recommend you buy a guitar with a longer scale length. You don't have to spend a bucket load of money to get a baritone guitar these days. There's I think Rob was saying earlier, the best selling of all the Chapman range is the Chapman standard baritone, which is like a sub 500
And we're just
quid.
about... Oh, I can't say that. That was close.
What?
Oh, nothing. Nothing happened. Nothing happened.
Just about to what?
Nothing. But yes, it's the best-selling Chapman guitar we make is our standard baritone.
Even I don't know what he's talking about there. But if you want to just see how you enjoy baritone tunings, by all means, take your regular scale length guitar, modify it, put crazy heavy strings on it, adjust it, blah, 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 and you'll end up with something like this. So you've done a C tuning.
Yeah,
now,
this is... Yeah, try that. That's...
Just to quickly say, the strings are in. I've got 17, 20, 30, 40, 52, 64.
Woo! Big boy strings. It's immediately feels
That's
like...
where it should be. Yeah. What you got now is the top end back in the guitar.
Yeah.
When it's too soft, it doesn't let out the top end of the string.
Yet again, despite my many years of selling guitars and other colleagues here who've spent many years touring guitars professionally, Rob, he's got experience in this sort of extended neck thing.
was fun.
I just realised as well, I turned every single one of my distortion pedals on there going, why aren't I getting any more?
And I was doing this for you.
Brilliant.
Better C to C, isn't it?